Gaming Bolt presents 15 role-playing game mechanics that make no sense. Let's take a look at the 15 role-playing game mechanics that can oftentimes make no sense in the context of reality. Prepare your cynicism. Leveling up. Leveling up is a core mechanic of many RPGs. It's supposed to represent you getting stronger. However, it's really weird when you think about it. You receive experience for killing enemies, completing activities, or just exploring different locations, and yet somehow this is supposed to make you faster, stronger, and better than your foes? We can understand undergoing specialized training for skills or hitting the gym, but gaining 5 levels in an hour to attain a huge advantage over foes is a little far-fetched. Weapons degrading quickly. In real life, swinging a katana against blunt steel is bound to ruin it. That being said, the rate at which some weapons degrade in RPGs can be a little unbelievable. Granted, when you're smashing large demonic beasts like in Dark Souls, it's a little more injurious to your weapon's health than you'd think. But some weapons aren't meant to be human creations. They're meant to be legendary artifacts forged by the heavens. And honestly, it doesn't help the pacing of games like Diablo 3 when you need to repair your weapons before attempting another greater rift. Veteran and legendary enemies. Veteran soldiers are fairly practical. They represent the best of the best and those who have risen above their ranks. That being said, it's a little weird to come across a veteran enemy that looks more or less like your regular enemy but glowing blue, or simply having the tagline veteran and not having many different attacks. Legendary enemies are even more unbelievable. Are we really going to believe that a ghoul in Fallout 4 has attained legendary status? That this ghoul is the most epic of all ghouls? Turn-based combat. This one needs no explanation. In many RPGs, players enter into battles and simply wait their turn in combat. You direct them as necessary, but it's weird for characters to be pummeling single enemies without ganging up on them or, well, saving their friends from enemy attacks. Sure, you could use the excuse of tactics and strategy, but we have a hard time believing that any hulking boss would sit for any length of time, even for several seconds, to allow us time to think. Action point combat. Action points are even more far-fetched. Whether turn-based or real-time combat, action points essentially determine how far you can move, what actions you can take, and influence further actions based on how many points you have left. So if you moved one square too many and consumed your action points with none left to attack with, then you better hope your defense stat holds up. Tactical RPG squares. Speaking of squares, tactical RPGs use a movement system which relies on units moving within a particular range of squares. Attacks can occur within a set range of squares as well. We know, it's just meant to represent how far a unit can travel or the range of their attacks. But why are there squares in the first place? Why can't a unit go anywhere? Why can't a unit with ranged attacks pretty much snipe their foes, even if it's by bow and arrow? Granted, we can again understand the whole tactical approach, but it's still distracting. Revival potions. Cue the Eris Phoenix Down jokes. In RPGs, it's possible to obtain potions to revive your teammates in battles. No matter how many times they die, they can be easily revived with the help of a potion or a similar item. If this were the case, then why did deaths happen at all in games like Final Fantasy? Is the enemy ever truly beaten if they can be revived? How does anyone die if these revival potions are a thing? Some games circumvent this by having your character get knocked out, which makes a little more sense, but only a little. Critical attacks. Critical attacks in a game like The Division are fairly well understood. Wouldn't they die from the indigestion? Maybe the monsters are running a parallel economy and all happen to be smugglers, thus making you the villain for interrupting their trade practice. Then again, maybe not. Bounties. Ah, bounties. Nothing like an incentive to commit murder again and again. However, something will begin to bug players sooner rather than later concerning bounties. Sure, you're getting XP and weapon blueprints and whatnot, but what's really the point of committing so much murder when more evil rises again? It's even less intriguing when you have to complete the same bounty for the same targets again and again. Also, unless you're inherently a mercenary, we're not sure why any do-gooder hero would take up bounties to begin with. Sending teams of 3, 6, 15, any number for full-scale war. An evil monster has awoken and the tower has sent 6 individuals on a covert operation into the Hellmouth on the moon to destroy him. Needless to say, there was only one survivor. What sounds like a bad plan in this case? Why sending another team of 6 down into the pit again? Because why should anyone send the roughly hundreds of thousands of brave soldiers to a battle when we can get a strike team of schmucks for the same purpose? Summons. Where did these amazing, majestic beasts come from? Well, summons have their own dimension and can thus be transported into ours by the ties that bind them to the summoner. This happens when the summon acknowledges said summoner as their master. Most times this can be done by beating the crap out of them, because what summon wouldn't be willing to serve such a jackass for all eternity without any compromise? And if you like what we're doing, go ahead and click that subscribe button. See you soon.